when a small cap technology tells you they've unofficially broken the world record for battery capacity, announced that they're going to start manufacturing in this quarter or in this upcoming quarter, and releases their first commercial battery branding, then you should probably be paying really close attention, because we're ecstatic to be talking to Bernard Turiol, the CEO of HPQ Silicon, who announced today HPQ introduces Endura, its first commercial battery brand built on its Gen 3 technology. Bernard, welcome back, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right, first question.
You should.
When can your shareholders buy these batteries for themselves? Are we going to see an Endura special edition box signed by Bernard where we can all buy these and, God willing, leave them in the box, and 10 years from now we've got some kind of great collector's item? Because I think a lot of shareholders want to buy these.
Yeah, well, they'll be available to buy once we have the website up. If we use small quantity, I'm pretty sure people want to test them. People are probably going to see their own usage. Of course, they'll be available. It'll be an interesting way. If people want the signature version with me, I'll sign it. But my signature is not that beautiful to see anyway. I don't think that's what really counts. It's the energy that counts.
Okay, let's talk about that. Small cap companies. One thing is, I think a lot of us have battery fatigue, because small cap companies are always talking about Georgecom batteries. We're going to power all the electric vehicles of the future, blah, 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 all the time. Are you the first actual producer of batteries to come out of the small cap space? I mean, the small cap stock in Canada, I don't know about Germany or somewhere else, but small cap stock in Canada, yeah, are you the first producer?
I would dare to say in Canada, yes. In the US, Nanograph, which is all the other one that had has the same type of at one point the same type of record, privately held. They did the same thing, but then they focused more on one client, which was the U.S. military, and they're now building a facilities to supply the U.S. militaries, and they need millions and millions of batteries just for that. So, uh, yeah, I think as a small scale, publicly traded company that is opening the route for mass distribution of such a high performance battery, yes, we are unique. We're not following a traditional path, but we never did. So we'll keep moving on that direction.
Okay, at the beginning of this interview, I said you've announced that you unofficially broke the world
Hmm.
record. Yeah,
Hmm.
you've got some graphics in your materials and all that show that, but it's unofficial because you need
Hmm.
third-party validation.
Hmm.
But without getting too technical, there are going to be a lot of people who are watching more and more. We know that. You and I, you've even been told
Hmm.
by potential, customers and all that they're watching.
Yeah,
Um,
they are.
in layman's terms, for every new investor, what's so special about your batteries? If you can give everyone a 30 to 60-second layman without us diving deep into the actual, technology and the numbers, but what's so special about them? And then we're going to talk about your target market, but what's so special about them that you're here?
30% more energy over 1,000 cycle. That's not very complicated to do. The holy grail of the battery space is having higher performance batteries that last a long time. And these
Sure.
type of batteries that we're competing with that have close to our level of capacity, not as much as we have, okay? They die between the 300 to the 500 cycle. All right. Ours, we've demonstrated with the Gen 3. Okay. And we know we'll make better with Gen 4 and Gen 5. We'll know we'll make better. But with the Gen 3, we're offering significant 30% more energy over 1,000 cycle. 1,000 cycle is you empty the battery. That's a long timeline for the batteries. So let's say that you have an electric scooter, okay? And you get tired because it loses its charge quickly. You have to keep recharging because the batteries they put in there, basically they want to sell you the electric bike. They want to put you the cheapest battery in there. Okay. Well, it's going to be worth you a while to replace the batteries inside with the cells in your batteries with our material. And then you're going to have to, for something that's going to be good for 1,000 cycles, it's going to give you 30% more energy. So you're going to go 30% longer on the same charge. That's a big difference. So there's so many small mobility type of application where we can come into. There's for civilian application radios, walkie-talkies, and those type of things. Your battery can last longer, give you more securities in those areas. So there's so many specific application, high-end application we can go after, and we're getting approached. If you have a power tool, our batteries could last longer depending on the energy requirement of those issues. So this is why it's starting to come. There's not too many people, actually, there's nobody else really, that are offering these type of batteries at this level. So we're going faster. We're going to commercialization because for us it's going to be it's going to be part of our scaling and a learning curve to move to bigger and better things. But we know that we already have a product that attracts interest because we've been receiving that interest.
Okay, you've kind of hinted at that a couple of times. Can you
Mhm.
give us, I know you can't be specific, we always talked about this, but what kind of interest are you talking about? I always ask you this question, is the phone ringing? Clearly it
Mhm.
is. So can you give us a little bit more generic information on what kind of conversation you're having?
We're having discussion with anybody that basically uses 18650 or 21700 batteries, okay? Because we're the only one that's publicly advertising a 21700 with, I believe we're saying 6000 milliampere. And that's bringing interest because there's a lot of interest. It's just starting the interest. Let's be realistic, okay? The interest about what we've done in our batteries has been mostly shareholder, investor related to industrial part, okay? I have one person that it's on my case. I said, when are we gonna have a data sheet? Because we want to take a look, and I have potential people that I can really get interested into because people want to see the data sheet. So that's the next thing we're working on to show it, to demonstrate what our batteries have done, can do, and will do. And that's going to be the key to part of the process of going to sign orders, and it's getting our first samples of those batteries in my hands, and so we can start delivering them for people to test them. Like I know in Montreal, all of our bikes, the Bixie bikes that are electric, okay, have 18650 batteries into them. Okay, that's maybe not a good example, but Lion Electric buses, okay, their battery plant was nothing else than an assembly position, taking 18650 batteries, putting in them into it. Now, one of the issues with the electric bus is the length, the time of the charge. Not saying it's perfectly designed for it, but there's so many applications for us to go after, and we're getting so much feedback that we're going to have to start to go about shooting after. So at the beginning, we're going to be shooting more for. We're not going to be looking at doing massive volume, but higher profit margin. That's really our first market that we're going to be looking at. So basically, it's going to be they're going to be specialized application where our battery is going to will allow the end seller to have a big differentiation compared to all the other ones.
To be clear, I just want to follow up on that question one more time. I know those are the potential markets that you're going, but you're saying you're having
Well, they're not
discussions
potential
now, and
market. They're real markets. They're not potential markets.
oh no, but that you may address, but you were saying that you're having discussions. So I guess my question is, can you give us a profile of the kind of specific discussions you're already having with potential customers, potential end users that you're already having? Because you kind of hinted at that a couple of times, and I guess I
Well,
want to try and
with one is how many batteries what size orders can we look at placing? Those type of discussions that we're having into it. How's your capacity to scale up? How do you control all the process? So we're having multiple of those discussions, and we have.
okay.
Uh, so it's at this level, it's like it's not worth it to discuss all the issues into it. There's a lot of it moving on forward, but the interest is there. I get regular calls and
And
regular.
it's refreshing that you're not talking about electric vehicles. Uh, I don't think I've heard any other companies talking about the triple C, you call them, these consumer kind of devices, but um, that's who you're going after, right? Drones, power tools, electric scooters. Is that where,
Mhm.
because you've brought this commercial team on, and
Mhm.
quote, the team will focus on securing strategic partnerships, penetrating high growth sectors, and converting industry interest into recurring revenue.
Mhm.
Um, any specific, are those the specific, we've talked about those in the past, but now that you're releasing the brand Endura, we're gonna talk about that in a second. Are those the actual first three verticals that you're getting most interested in?
It is, but there might be more. There might be, as we start doing this, there might be more and more that come into it. It might be also the DIY type of people that will love to be able to assemble their own batteries out of cells. They're going to say, well, why should I do this? There might be the people that would like to use electronic cigarettes. Might discover our battery is one of the best ones to do it because it lasts longer, because it has more energy. There's so many applications. We're going to start to go through it. We just know that we have a good product that's superior to anything out there, and we're bringing it to market in an intelligent but gradual focus.
All right. So the good news is it's a really big market, but the
Mhm.
bad news is it's a really big market. And you have to choose which rabbits you're going to chase, because if you try and chase them
Mhm.
all,
Mhm.
not I'm saying you are, but the common business practice, you try and chase them all, you get none. So, what
Mhm.
does your sales and marketing plan look like? Because there are so many potential customers, so many potential verticals, so many. Where do you guys start? What do you see? What do you guys see as your main sales and marketing plan for the first 3 to 6 months? For the rest of 2025, for example.
Okay, well, it's going to be a multi-phase like marketing plan. First part is to communicate to the industry where we are, basically build a database of potential clients where our batteries can make a significant changes to the end user. Start communicating with them, getting them to start want to try our batteries, and from then on try to create more and more repeat sale of those areas. So it's going to be very focused at the beginning on mobility and military type of things, and it's going to be and then we're going to be going to conferences where it's available. We're going to go do some discussion about our batteries to specific areas. Maybe one of the things we'll do is we'll assemble our first batteries for an EV bike, for an electric bike, and have them available for testing for people to see the difference of what our batteries can do, and give out
Cool.
those performance and do those type of videos related to this issue. So it's going to be a multi-level type of marketing strategy to start hitting the ground running. So we'll be building up mostly a commission-based sales team type to try to get us more and more traction and more sales. The idea is to start generating a brand knowledge, start generating that, if you have HPQ Endura batteries, then you're having one of the best batteries available out there, and try to grow from there.
So if there are shareholders watching right now or listening, and they have an actual great connection to one of these verticals, should they call you? Are you looking for,
Oh, see,
you know,
you're sort of laughing. I already got one guy that texted me through LinkedIn, says we would really be excited to become a salesman for those areas. I've already had somebody else I'm having some discussion with that have some knowledge into this over the area. So we'll gradually be building with Derek our communication and our sales team. Because this is a time where we need a sales team. There's a difference between the sales that I do, which is the sales as CEO of the company, and somebody is going to be out there to say, my goal is to get, we got to sell that many 100,000 of batteries wherever the target is, and find clients. There is tons of clients out there that need our batteries. At the same time, we'll go also take a look at big institutional clients, but they're also coming to us. But I think we'll have a two tier, lower, like high value clients, and then bigger industrial clients, because we're already having interest from big industrial clients.
can you shed some light on that? You keep sprinkling these interested, and then you shut like
But it's
what
like
is
I
what's the
can't say more
example of
than
a big
I.
industrial client profile? I'm not asking for their name. I'm not saying for George Calm batteries, but is there a big Greek, electric bike maker or something like? Can you give us a profile of
No,
what?
as I said, it's been military. It's been basically people that are already assembling batteries. Okay, they're already doing those type of things of batteries. Also been some power tool companies that started to have some preliminary conversation with us. So it's just starting. Remember, our knowledge about our brand, what we've done, isn't there. So as we start to go expand our marketing into more basically more to people related that are looking for those batteries, because I don't think, while our investors, some of my investors might be excited by it, if you're George battery bike electrical bike company, you might not know about HPQ Enduro yet. You might not know about our batteries. You might not know. So the probability of people that don't know we exist is higher than the probability of people that know we exist. And I
Oh
think there's a
no,
lot of
that's a
people.
guarantee.
Exactly.
That's a
So there's a lot
guarantee.
of people there's a lot of people we could go preach our story and get people out. It's the same thing with the HPQ silicone story. Okay. There's a certain group of people that know that we are, and we got to go expand that group of people. And I think we now have a great story with multiple pegs that are moving forward, and one of them that's demonstrating a potential for revenue generation.
Now, given the fact, of course, you're now in business startup mode. You went through the R&D, you went through, so you've done that. That's awesome. Now you're in business startup mode. So we know that. And anybody
Mhm.
who expects a miracle tomorrow, that's probably not realistic. But having said that, we've talked about this before. Do you think you're going to be into some meaningful revenue in Q3 and or Q4?
What's meaningful revenues? At this moment for HPQ, any revenue is meaningful. All right. And it's a question of pathway to growth and generating significant, meaningful revenues down the line. At the beginning, you're trying to create an impression of your brand, and we'll try to get as much or as many orders as we can. But I'm not in the position at this moment where I can, and especially with the rules regarding forward-looking statement with financial, I'm not in a position where I can make any prediction. But I think in our press release, I was pretty clear of how even a low ball target, okay, could have a significant influence on what we're doing at HPQ. So I think I will stay with my statement that I issued there as a minimum low ball story. I'd be very disappointed if we only reach that level, but I just wanted to put a low ball numbers.
Is that and I got this in my questions here, is that where you're saying even at 1% market share, it could be pretty lucrative for you? Is that what you're referring to right now?
Yeah,
That a
that's what
low
that's what.
ball figure for you would be 1% market share capture?
You see, yeah, because I always found sometimes companies that start selling, they give out unrealistic potential revenue generation type of an idea,
Shark Tank.
yeah, specifically saying, if we can reach those size of sales because the size of the market. I knew some people that basically came up and said, size of the market is $100 million, and we'll make $70 million of revenue. Like, it doesn't make any sense. You're not going to take 75% of the market. So I just wanted to show what is a very lowball number, which is 1%, is significant revenue, okay, for us because
Yeah.
this is going to be per year and growing. And it's the market. See, the market is growing by 14 to 15%. You get 1 to 2%, you get moving. If we could start, you get 1 to 2%, it's going to be moving. Now, why did I choose 1%? 1% is a very conservative number. If I would have put 10%, some people would go complain, and it would be too high. Some people would say too low. It's like it's just to give a rough idea of the potential that we're talking about. I'm not even talking about Europe. That's going to be Innovation that's going to be doing it, but there's also those areas. So the potential is there. If we execute correctly, we can be very well positioned.
So if 1% is too low, 10% is too high, maybe 5% is just right.
It's going to be somewhere. It's going to be somewhere in those areas. I'm not saying at one point.
Is it
I'm not saying if we get our our Gen 4 or Gen 5 delivering as much battery potential as it is, maybe 5% is a low target. Maybe 10% is a low target because we're going to be changing the entire industry with the capacity of our batteries. But let's be realistic at this moment, okay? And let's look at this coldly. If we just get 1% of the market that is presently here, remember, there's no batteries that's delivering the energy we are, okay? If we get 1% of that, we have we significantly change the nature of HPQ, and we're well positioned for an exponential growth. So that's just what I'm saying.
all right? Well, okay, let's go back to talk about records for a second. Your
Hmm.
Gen 3,
Hmm.
unofficially, I said, is already
Hmm.
at record
Yeah.
levels.
Hmm.
But you're already talking about Gen 4 and Gen 5.
Hmm.
So do you expect like real, do you expect little incremental improvements? You go from 30% to 32%, or are you expecting even more of this kind of shattering that you've done in the past where you
We're
just shattering metrics? And if so, at that point, do you make it official? Do
Hmm.
you go to a third party? It's official
Yeah.
world record, so you can actually go to the whole world and say, hey, it's a world record and it was verified by, Agoracom
Hmm.
Labs over there. that it's a verified.
Is it a Goricom like Acme in the old
Yeah. I don't want
basic
to say the
Looney
other name
Tunes?
so nobody ever goes looking for him and thinks, oh, George said that company and maybe he knows something that we don't. That's why I use the generic
No, no,
names like
no.
that. But
Yeah, I was sort of joking about the generic thing.
yeah, I know.
No,
I'm
it's
not.
like, yeah, yes, of course, we will get them. But what's going to happen is more and more people use our batteries and see the performance and improvement. Then we will have word of mouth type of marketing that's going to come into it. Imagine you use your electric bike every day and you basically, you run out of charge at the end of the day and you have to cycle. And then you switch that to the HPQ Endura and you have the endurance to basically not need to cycle just for that extra miles that you need to do for the end. There's going to be those type of word of mouth that we're hoping to get with our product as we make it available. So it'll be a mix of batch. If we have the record, great. We no we're very confident, or I should be more specific. Our technical team, led by Jen and the people at Novasium, are very confident that those are achievable targets. And we can tell you that the 6,000 milliampere 21700 batteries, okay, is turning eyes, is getting people to start, this is unheard of.
Did you say turning eyes, but you meant to say turning heads? Is that
Oh,
a
turning eyes,
Bernieism?
yes. Yeah, well, yeah, of course, there has to be at least one Bernieism during the interview.
But let's talk about that. So actually, I'm glad you brought that up because it's fair to say that it would be smart if you guys had overlapping marketing with Novasium, correct?
Hmm. Yeah.
They actually they're going to be doing what they're doing over there,
Hmm.
and they're going to be seeing marketing results from certain verticals or industries. Or
Hmm.
are you guys going to? Are you plan to kind of collaborate that
Of
way?
course. Of course. We're going to share information. We're going to have ongoing discussion. Of course, it's a two-way street. Whatever information we get from our side, we'll share with them. We'll have ongoing discussion with them, and the other way around too.
Sorry, just had to shut that off there. How difficult do you think it's going to be to break into this North American market? How difficult do you think it's going to be in terms of the competition? I know that the customers will take your call or the verticals you're going after, but this is a very competitive space. So I guess the ultimate question I want to ask you is, um, do you have that big of a competitive advantage that you can walk in to an end user, whether it's a scooter company, e-bikes, all these things, and say, hey, I know you're working with this big company here, but we give you 30% extra capacity. And therefore, is that going to be a door opener that, despite the fact you're the new kid on the block, nobody knows your name yet, is that enough for people to say, come on in, Bernard, we want to talk to you?
Well, they're always going to want to talk to us because the reality is everybody end users, okay, is looking to be able to extract the most amount of energy out of every one of his battery cells into the into its end application. So being able to say that we're offering 30% more energy over 1,000 cycle is going to bring us to the door. Now, since we're not a name brand yet, okay, their first order might be small, but the repeat orders
Yeah,
will
of
have.
course.
So that's sort of the way we're sort of seeing. We're sort of looking is going to come out. The first order might be small, 1,000, 2,000 batteries, and then once we've proven ourselves, then they're probably going to be grow exponentially.
By the way, do you have a general range yet for what a battery is going to be selling for? And a ballpark?
We have some internal numbers, but we're not yet sharing them because right now price point is not going to be our most biggest selling point to it. It's the fact that we're the only one that offers this type of batteries. So
Yeah.
it's like at the beginning, it's the first iPhone was a new technology, and the first people that buy are willing to pay more for having those type of situation. As we gradually move forward, the prices are going to go down. But at the beginning, why, I, I'm not going to be competing against a Sony batteries that dies after 500 cycle that barely delivers 3,000, 2,800 or 3,000 milliamp when I'm much higher than that. Uh, there's no logic into it. And as somebody told me, okay, it's not a linear progression. Oh, this battery does this at this level. So I won't pay that much more. No, you're gonna pay for the extra benefit of the event that you're gonna get with our batteries. So it's not linear. It's gonna be step by step, an increment, and
Okay,
bigger
I was
steps.
gonna say, is it a case of, okay, Bernard, I currently pay $10 for my batteries. I'm just throwing out a number. I have no idea what your
Hmm.
cost is, what your price is, but so if you can give me 30% extra, extra capacity, I'm willing to pay $12, so I'm willing to pay 20% more because I'm still gonna get 10% on top of that more, better value. Or so you're saying that's not linear, giving 30% more capacity will mean that my scooters will have such an advantage in the market that I'm going to make maybe way, I'm going to make
Well,
way more sales,
yeah, but
and
basically,
therefore
remember,
you can charge more.
the 30% energy gain is over 1,000 cycles. So you're gonna have clients that are gonna be much more satisfied, last longer. Now, if your business is to keep, selling more and more battery cell, you might not be to it. But then what's gonna happen is some people are gonna start saying, wait a minute, if I use the Novation or the HPQ Endura batteries, I don't have to go back and change every 6 weeks, my battery pack, because I use them too fast, because I cycle too much, use them, all those issues. So these are all
Yeah,
marketing opportunities that we have that will allow us to differentiate ourselves and build up the brand quality and responsibility. So we're gonna be doing this gradually over time, but in a focused fashion.
yeah. The fact of the matter is, if I'm a power tool company and you can increase my capacity, the endurance of my battery by 30%,
Hmm.
word gets out that the George Com, power tool battery lasts way longer. I'm not going to get 30% more sales. I may get 100% more sales, 200% more sales because
Or
the
you might
word
you
goes
you
out
you
to the
might you
market.
might be able to sell your product at a significant premium because of this.
Yeah, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving it, I was glad that we kind of addressed this a little bit because I was
Mm-hmm.
thinking to myself, is it linear or is it
No,
exponential? Because you're giving
it's
such a competitive
exponential.
advantage to somebody down the user path that they're
Mm-hmm.
willing to pay big dollars to have that advantage.
Okay, so let's be realistic. This is what I said. High margin, not as big as volume. So basically, if you're a volume business, you're probably going to want the cheapest. If you're going to be selling
Yeah,
something unique, high value, high performance, let's say you're selling a electric scooter for old people. Okay, but you want to sell the highest brand. Well, you put our batteries into it and it'll last longer. It'll give you differentiation, and it might cost you, let's say, I'm giving a number out of it, $100, $200 more for per battery pack using our batteries. But if you sell it for $1,000 more, what do you care?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna be looking forward to you guys hopefully coming out with those kind of use cases and
Hmm.
case studies in the next 3 to 6 months because I'd be fascinated
Hmm.
by that because that is true. I mean, if you told me if you told me I could buy a phone that's got 30% more battery
Hmm.
uh capacity, I wouldn't just pay 30% more. I'd pay a lot more because there's means I'd never run out at the end of the day like I do, which means I
Hmm.
can do more business, which means who cares if I pay an extra $500 for the phone, the amount of business I get out of it will be exponential for
Hmm.
me. So I love that. By the way, the name Endura,
Hmm.
awesome name. How'd you guys come up with it? And more specifically, I was actually surprised when I saw it that the name was available.
You have to remember the name is HPQ Endura.
Of course, yeah.
That's what makes it available.
But having said that, uh, I'm surprised that there aren't a
We
bunch
had
of.
we, we had a long session of brainstorming, a lot of drinking tequila, and we came up with a name. No, it's not true. And we did not ask ChatGPT for the name. So, well, actually, we asked ChatGPT for a series of names, but
Sure,
that
you
name
did. I'm telling
wasn't.
you, you can't lie. Of course, you.
No, no, no,
Everybody
no. But
asks.
but not that name. That name came out of a discussion we were having, me and Derek, because we were throwing away all our names, and the guys in Novation were throwing away names, and I said we came up with this one. Can't
And
remember
is it going to be
exactly what's the
Endura?
genesis for
Endura is going to be the brand outside of North America also?
HPQ. No, it's our North American brand. It's the HPQ brand. So what HPQ sells is going to be
Yeah,
HPQ Endurable. That's why there's a plus of
of
the
course.
battery side. So That's going to be our brand. What if Novation wants to use our brand? We'll let them use it, but they might want to create their own brand. Doesn't really change anything.
Yeah, but that would be great to have kind of a, a universal, a global name, and Novaciam, Endura, HPQ Endura. That would be pretty cool. For newbies,
Hmm.
there were a couple of questions on Agoracom, and it looked
Hmm.
like from somebody this is the mail room. Actually, let me just pop over there and read it. It was from Matt Boy, um, who's not a newbie, but the questions being a lot of the, and for the current shareholders who know the answer, bear with us, but there are always new people. Do you have a battery manufacturer that you'll be partnering with to accomplish the Q3 goal of battery manufacturing? And
Well,
do
we
you have a
already
location? So let's talk a little bit
okay.
about that for the
All
newbies.
right. Okay. So we've been very specific that our business model at the beginning, okay, is to have a third party manufacturer for us those batteries. Now, what we control in our black box, and we control entirely, okay, is the anode material. We prepare it, we do it ourselves, we control all the parties into it, and then that becomes shipped to the manufacturer who then makes our battery. So we control that part, it's black box, we control it. Nobody can really see what's inside of it. It's very difficult. So what we send to the battery manufacturers, they use whatever's left over, we get back. So we control that savoir faire 100%, and we have somebody else doing it. It's the most cost efficient way for us to do it at the beginning.
Yeah,
Um, if
for
I look at
sure.
if I look at how NanoGaf got their contract with the military, that's exactly what they did. They started delivering a few batteries. The batteries were like great. And what people have to realize is that a battery like this is still mostly okay graphite. It's still mostly graphite. The only thing we do is we replace a little bit of a percentage of that material by ours, and we get 30% better premium, better operation.
Unbelievable.
We're not changing everything else. So we're talking about what, 2, 3, 4 grams per batteries of material. So like eventually in the discussion we're having with government entities with regard to building a first equipment to produce the silicone-based material we're working on. Even if we just build a pilot plant that does 50 ton per year, okay, that's going to be enough material to make 5 to 10 million batteries, depending if it's 21,700, 18,650. So it's it's not the biggest by weight, okay, but its contribution is exponentially bigger.
Yeah.
Like to this stage, I still do not understand some Canadian graphite companies, okay, that are not running. Well, there are some that are starting to figure out the starting discussion, but some others that are not coming to see me and says, wait a minute, if we partner with you guys, our battery is going to be 30, we can make our graphite 30% better. I still don't get that, but that's sometimes people just want to stay in their own square what they control 100%. And we have a more open idea to working with other people to get the project moving forward. So that's just our
Well, it
philosophy.
doesn't prevent you from calling them now that you're ready to go with the
Oh,
brand and say, hey, I know she didn't call me, but I'm calling you.
yeah, but it's nothing at the end, nothing is going to be stopping us because, we can either use their graphite, somebody else's graphite, doesn't change anything. It's our silicone that makes the material better. It's our silicone-based anode material.
One more question from
Okay.
Matt Boy. Again, this for the benefit of other people. The silicon material for the batteries, is that being produced in France and being shipped here? Or will a manufacturing facility be set up at Pyrogenesis to produce the silicon material for the batteries? So obviously that there's newbiness in there, but there are going to be a lot of new people who are going to be thinking the same thing. So talk a little bit about that, how that's going to work.
At this specific moment, and as I said, at this specific moment, our silicone-based anode material that we're developing, we buy it from third party. We're not looking yet at manufacturing. We filed a patent to make that material much more efficiently. I believe in the coming weeks I'll be in a position to explain more clearly all the steps that are coming into it. But at this specific moment, no, we're not in partner with Pyrogenesis with this. It is an independent project of HPQ with Novation. and it will remain an independent project with HPQ Innovation because, as I said, we're more focused on the specific SIOX type of material, and we're more focused at creating the market for those areas. Eventually, when the time is right, we'll be looking at making our own silicone into it. But at this moment, the return on the investment of doing this is not going to be the same. So instead of building a lot of capex to build a plant to then get the sales, we're doing it in reverse. We're getting the sales where we're doing white label type of products. Somebody else doing the manufacturing for us, as long as we control the savoir-faire, the technology. And we think it's more advantageous and it's a faster way to market. And with lower risk and probably higher return for our investors.
It's July 30th. That means we're inside of Q3. So this is the last question. When do you think we'll see the first batteries rolling off the assembly line?
I think the first batteries I've rolled off, I think from my understanding correctly, the first Novation one are going to be rolling out in their office this week or next week. Ours, now that we have the brand, now it's just a question of getting the label done and getting the first batch of batteries ready and sent to us. That's it.
And
So we
given
can
the
have
fact
them.
that Derek is doing such a great job on the internal comm side, is it safe to assume you're going to give us some cool behind the scenes video of the first batteries coming in and all that? Are you gonna be able to share that with us on your blog?
Maybe we'll figure out. We'll make it cool, but pretty soon I'll have you even more cool things to show.
And are we gonna get Endura swag? Hats, maybe golf shirts.
Why
What's the
not?
swag
Actually,
situation looking like, my man?
that's funny. That's something that Derek was mentioning. We would probably, since we're gonna have a B2B type of website, we probably could put some swag and some HPQ type of materials into it. And if some people wanted special series. I think the cool thing we could probably do, and we'll have to take a look at this, is if you get two of those batteries, we can get two of our cells into a system to have a small battery recharger. So those two things connected, battery recharge.
Right.
So that might be something that we do as a sort of novelty item to show it to people. I'm surprised you didn't
My
ask me a
man,
question about this.
well, what is that? I just saw it now for the first time. I didn't see it up until now. You want to put it higher, hold it up, and let us see it? What is that?
That is what
I'm going to
that is.
maximize my screen because when we're doing
Yeah.
this, I've got you in the corner because I got my notes here that I can look at.
I
What
just
is that?
I just got the first of our fuel for the hydrogen generator.
You're going to pop that in to the end of a battery interview that's gone
Of
about
course.
40 minutes or so. Hey, just going to pop that into the screen. What are you,
Yep.
the Avengers? When the movie
Yes.
ends and then you have
Yep.
the last scene at the end credits? Is that what that is?
That's what it was. Yes.
Gee, okay, at least hold it up for us so we can have a better
No,
look at it.
it's just a
We're not going to
question.
talk about it, obviously,
No,
but
no,
have a
we're
look
not
at
going
it,
to
see
talk
what we're
about it. It's
looking.
just like, it's getting real. It's getting real also. We have the batteries. And what happened is at the last AGM, we realized that people, having the ability to physically touch things makes it more real for
Yeah.
people. So the idea was to have, to be able to start showing, because we keep telling people we're taking solid block of a metal and we're going to be 100% consuming the solid block and turning it to hydrogen.
Well, given the conversation that we just kind of had there, I already know what the brand name for that is because you probably, I don't know if you,
Oh, we didn't think of
uh,
brand name yet.
what's that?
We haven't thought of a brand name yet. Maybe we will.
Avenger, the HPQ Avenger, because that's what you just did to all of us. We just sat through a 2.5 hour movie. We like it, end credits roll, and then you pop that end scene on us, and you just officially became an Avenger. All right, Robert Downey Jr. Thanks for joining us, Iron Man. This is a great interview, and congratulations to you and the Novasium team. I know we joke around a lot. This is a happy day, and we're joking around, but congratulations to you and the whole Novasium team, Dr. Krem, everybody. Fantastic job, my man. And can't wait to have you back when the next piece of, and I never know, right? I'm in Greece still, And I got the, hey, George, you got time for an interview? We just put this press release out. So I hope we see you again soon, but let's celebrate this today. It's unbelievable what you're doing, Bernard, on multiple levels inside of one company. Some people may or may not like the reference, but you're starting to slowly show signs of being an Elon Musk style, innovator with multiple legs. So, way to go, my man. Thanks for joining us today. Okay.
Thank you.
For everyone at home, hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys got some nice little morsels out of Bernard there, a couple of Bernieisms. And thanks for joining us. Keep the questions coming on Agoracom. Keep the engagement coming there. Have a great day. See you next time.
Hey, small cap fam. I hope you loved this interview because more than a dozen people were involved in its production for the sole purpose of making you happy. If so, can you take a moment to support both our awesome guest company and Agoracom? Your engagement means the world to us. First, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up by tapping that like button. It's a small gesture that helps this interview reach even more potential investors to discover today's guest. Second, we would love to hear your feedback on this interview, so please leave a comment below. Be sure to keep it clean, but feel free to poke fun at George. If you loved what you heard on today's video and want to dig into our guest company right away, take a look at the links in the description below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to never miss another great Agoracom small cap video. Thank you so much. We couldn't do any of this without you. Make sure to come back soon.